A happy Saturday morning from Riddle Pace Field on the campus of Troy University. It's all-day baseball today here at the American Legion State Baseball Tournament for 2025, celebrating a century of excellence as far as summer baseball across the state of Alabama. We have 5 matchups today leading up to tomorrow's championship round as we welcome you in. James Hardy with you. A happy game day wherever you're watching us from here on JockJive.com. We have all-day baseball, as we mentioned, beginning right now with Tuscumbia post 31 and Foley post 99 in a loser's bracket game. The winner advances into a semifinal round match later on this evening at 5:30. Our next game will feature Daphne post 199 and Hackleburg post 165 in another loser's bracket quarterfinal game here on the campus of Troy University. We're about to get set for all-day baseball. As you take a look at the home team for Foley, as they'll be the home team, the designated home team for today's matchup. And they'll send out Ethan Bettner as the right-handed pitcher. They'll be wearing the camouflage tops today, as Tuscumbia will get the opening at bat as the designated visiting team there in their white tops and bottoms. As the winner of this game will keep their championship hopes alive. They'll need to win 2 games to advance to tomorrow's championship round. We'll give you the defensive alignment for Foley here in just a moment. As for Tuscumbia, first off, it'll be Brody Armstrong leading off, the right-handed batter at 5'11", 115 pounds out of Haleyville High School. Get a look at the defensive alignment after this first pitch, which misses high for ball 1, as 9:04 is our game time here at Troy University. There's a ground ball rolled over to the right side as Colton Watkins, an easy play as he tosses over to first base in time for out number 1. So Armstrong retired to get things started on our marathon Saturday at Riddle Pace Field. So just a couple of pitches to get the first out of the ball game for Bettner. As coming up to the plate will be the 6'1", 193-pound right-handed batter, Connor Sheets. He'll take outside for ball 1. Let's take a look at the Foley defense as Cooper Watkins, the left fielder today, with Jordan in center and Tuberville out and right. Off-speed pitch upstairs. So count at 2 balls and no strikes. Our next game scheduled for about an 11:30 a.m. first pitch, as that misses high and away for ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. Championship game tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and if necessary, game to follow that sometime around 4. We'll get a look at the Foley defense right after this 3-0 pitch, as Bettner gets a swing and a miss that time. Banks at third, Brazil at short, Colton Watkins at second, and Nichols at first. Nutsi behind home plate as Bettner gets ready to deal. And that's an excuse me foul ball. So Bettner 1 strike away from getting what would be his first strikeout of this Saturday morning. Riddle Pace Field, the playing surface looking in outstanding condition this Saturday morning, as that's on the inside corner for a called strike 3. So 2 down. Nice fastball that time by Bettner as he was able to get outstanding placement on the inside corner to get his first strikeout of the ball game. So 2 up and 2 down for Tuscumbia as Drake Wilson comes up to the plate. First pitch swing and a pop-up, and that'll go out of play. Drake Wilson, 6'3", 180 pounds. Out of the Alabama School of Cyber Technology and Engineering. Upstairs that time on the 0-1. That'll even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. So far, Armstrong and Sheets have been retired for a quick couple of outs. As there's a nice off-speed pitch on the inside corner, another strike call. So Bettner one more pitch away from working a 1-2-3 inning to get this morning started. Winds and comes home, and that misses outside. His battery mate Nutzi thought that he might have been able to get another strikeout, but instead the at-bat continues. Pitch. That's hit foul and out of play. This is the last weekend in the month of July, and as we all know around here, football just around the corner, but for all of the teams here in Troy this weekend, maybe some of their last baseball of the summer. That's hit well and into left field for a base hit. So Drake Wilson able to keep the inning alive for Tuscumbia as he's able to get a pitch good enough for his liking as he's able to get it just past Brazil into left field. So the inning continues for Tuscumbia as we'll get the cleanup batter stepping up to the plate. So the first base runner of this ball game in Drake Wilson, who gets a 2-out single, and William McCullough, 6'1", 240 pounds, a Haleyville high school product. So McCullough trying to help his team get a little bit of 2-out magic as he hits that pretty well into left, but coming over and Cooper Watkins able to snag it down to retire the side. So no runs on a hit with no errors and a runner left on base for Tuscumbia. So we go to the bottom of the first inning, nothing doing for Tuscumbia as Foley comes to bat. This is an elimination game between Tuscumbia and Foley at the American Legion State Baseball Tournament here in Troy, Alabama on JockJive.com. We'll go to the bottom of the first inning. Nothing doing outside of a 2-out hit for Tuscumbia. As Foley, as the home team, they'll have their first at-bat coming up here on this Saturday morning. James Hardy with you on JockJive.com. A total of 5 games today leading up to tomorrow's Grand Championship game here at Riddle Pace Field as Drake Wilson ready to toe the rubber for Tuscumbia. Tuscumbia post 31 and Foley post 99 looking to continue their tournament journey here at Riddle Pace Field today. Drake Wilson able to get the only hit so far in ballgame, albeit granted very early on. As he'll try and do like Bettner, his counterpart, did for Foley, and that is to try and put a 0 on the board here in the opening inning of play. Let's take a look at the starting batting order for Foley post 99. Brazil, Cooper, Watkins, and Bryant Banks will be the first three, in the order. Brazil, the shortstop. Cooper Watkins in left field, and Bryant Banks the call at third base today for Foley. The losers bracket ball game, always a good idea as far as one of these two teams trying to get a good head start and take an early lead today, because the loser of this ball game will have their tournament hopes come to an end. So Hayden Brazil to the plate. So Drake Wilson will have the opportunity for Tuscumbia to try and keep their tournament hopes alive today. As Wilson ready, winds, and misses high to Brazil. Winner of this ball game advances to a 5:30 semifinal round game. It would also be a loser's bracket game against the loser of the 2 o'clock game today against either Shelby County post 555 or Troy post 70. Wilson comes home. Off-speed pitch in there for a strike. So 2 balls and 1 strike now to Brazil. Swing and a miss. Looked like a little off-speed action that time. We'll take a further look here at the Foley starting lineup in just a second as far as the middle of their order. Wilson has his hat come off that time with the aggressive wind, but misses inside on the fastball. Full count on Brazil as that misses downstairs for ball 4. So Foley gets an early base runner with a leadoff walk. Middle of the order for Foley today: Colby Jordan, Colton Watkins, and Ethan Bettner. As Cooper Watkins now will come up to the plate. Watkins bats from the left side as he'll take a strike call. We'll take a look at the particulars on Cooper Watkins. 6'1", 180 pounds, out of Foley High School. His job to try and get Brazil up into scoring position. Lifts that one into left field, and that'll go out of play toward the batting cages. A very nice, outstanding updated facility over the last few seasons here at Riddle Pace Field. Pretty much looks like a new ballpark, even though the last of the major renovations were done just a few years ago. Pitch home, a hit and run, and a ground ball over to the right side as that will get Brazil into scoring position, and an easy 4-3 put out for the first out of the inning. So Watkins grounds out for the first out of the bottom of the first inning. So Bryant Banks comes up to the plate as he'll have a chance to try and get Foley on the board first. Maddox Weigart that time with the infield assist for Tuscumbia. A healthy lead for Brazil over at second base, as coming to the stretch now is Wilson. That's hit, may have gone off Wilson that time, but a convenient hop for the shortstop as he'll toss over to first base and in time. Nice job from Tuscumbia's shortstop Thomas Holliday, as he was able to at least read the carom and able to make the toss over to first base easily for out number 2. A trade-off for both teams. Second out for Tuscumbia defensively. However, Brazil advances an extra base over to third. Opportunity now with a single, and instead they'll have, at least Foley will, an extra base runner due to that hit by pitch on the very first pitch of the at-bat. As the first pitch, at least seen by Colby Jordan, gets hit on the elbow. So he'll go over to first base, and that'll bring up Colton Watkins. So Watkins a chance to get at least his first RBI of the day. Watkins to start at second as that's popped up left side. Should get Tuscumbia out of the inning as the catch made by Holiday, the shortstop, and that'll retire the side. So an opportunity for Foley to get on the board, but they can't do so. No runs on no hits, no errors, and 2 left on bases. We're through 1 full inning of play here at Riddle Pace Field. Foley and Tuscumbia scoreless through 1 here on JockJive.com. Nice job that time by Drake Wilson of getting out of some trouble in the bottom of the first inning as Foley got a runner in scoring position with less than 2 outs. Had a couple of runners on with 2 down, but were not able to score as both teams failed to score in their opening at bat. As we go to the top of the second inning, a loser's bracket game, so the loser will have their tournament run come to an end. Then the winner will advance to the 5:30 semifinal game later on today. So you'll have the winner's bracket final, the final semifinal game at 8 o'clock p.m. this evening. That's, of course, as we all know in the Deep South, at this time of the year, always that chance for a pop-up storm to come across. As we begin the second inning, Bettner able to hit the strike zone that time and gets the strike call. Tuscumbia in the white tops today. Thomas Holiday, who got a couple of putouts at short, leads off. 1 ball and 1 strike on him. Holiday out of Lauderdale County High School as he just misses the first base bag. A foul ball wide at the first base bag. So 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Holiday. 5'11", 160 pounds as he grounds this one over to the left side. And that's booted by Brazil. And so Tuscumbia will get a leadoff batter aboard. So the first error of the ball game for either team defensively. As Tuscumbia has a base runner aboard. A good start for them here in the second inning. As we'll get our first look here at the number 6 batter in the order as that pitch gets to the backstop. And that'll allow Holiday to get into scoring position on a wild pitch. So now Tuscumbia a chance to get on the board here in the second inning. Grayson Owens to the plate out of Colbert County High School. As he'll whip through that pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Owens, 5'10", 158 pounds. Skies this one over to the left side, and then he'll drift over toward the covered batting cages and out of play. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tuscumbia left a base runner at first base after a 2-out single by Drake Wilson. But now they're in business as you have the Foley infield drifting toward the left side. A good lead over at second for Holiday as Owens takes high. So count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bettner ready. Comes home. Swing and a miss for the strikeout. That's a big strikeout for Bettner to get his first out of the inning and to keep the runner, most importantly, at second base. Carson Brown to the plate out of Lauderdale County High School. 5'9", 170 pounds. He'll get ahead in the count here. 1 ball and no strikes. Stretch and pitch on the way. That's hit out of play. Looked as if it would have been ball 2, but Brown aggressive that time as he tomahawked it back to the screen. He's also trying to help his team get on the board first. Swing and a miss. Looked like a changeup that time. It's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Thomas Holiday reached on a fielding error by Brazil at short and able to get to second on a wild pitch. And misses high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 4 games after this one still to come. However, one of these 2 teams will go home after today as another swing and a miss. And that's a big strikeout again for Bettner, as he's now 1 batter away from getting out of trouble. Maddox Weigert to the plate, the second baseman. Throw back to second base, and they are able to get Thomas Holiday out at second base. So Holiday a little too far off a second as he was picked off. And that is a big sequence of events for Foley to get out of trouble. So Tuscumbia able to get a base runner into scoring position, but not able to cash in. As we go to the bottom of the second inning, still scoreless here on JockJive.com. We go to the bottom of the second inning as Tuscumbia appeared to be in business to try and get in the lead first. However, a couple of strikeouts and then a pickoff at second base was able to squelch that scoring effort for Tuscumbia. Thomas Holiday caught too far off of second base as Bettner able to get out of trouble for Foley. And now we go to the bottom of the second inning, as it'll be 6, 7, and 8 due up here in the Foley batting order. Ethan Bettner, the pitcher, looks to help himself, as also Mitchell Tuberville on deck. It bounces in there for a ball. Brady Nichols also will get his first scheduled at bat here in the second. Wind and pitch from Wilson. That's hit down the line, but that slices toward the right field bullpen and foul. Winner of this ball game will get a bit of rest period during the middle of the day, as there's a weak grounder. Goes off of Wilson's glove. Nice job by Weigert as he reacts and then throws to first base in time. So it took a carom off of the glove of Wilson, but Weigert able to at least easily adjust on the carom and then make the throw over to first base for out number one. So that's the third ground out so far today for Wilson, as his fastball misses outside to Tuberville. 1 ball and no strikes on the Foley right fielder. He'll swing away and hits that foul just to our left. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mitchell Tuberville, 6 foot, 199 pounds, out of Baldwin County High. That slides inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Coming into today, in addition to these two teams, Daphne and Hackleburg, along with Shelby County and Troy, still alive when it comes to this American Legion State Baseball Championship. That's hit into center field. Should be an easy play. And it is for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 down for Foley here in the second. We go to Brady Nichols, his first at bat today. Dawson Higgins able to flag it down in center field for Tuscumbia for that second out of the inning. Fastball, strike call around the letters. Our first look at Nichols today. Where's number 28? 6'2", 265 pounds as he quickly falls behind. No balls and 2 strikes. So Wilson 1 more pitch away from what would be a quick inning here in the second. Nice breaking ball. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night for Nichols. As a 1-2-3 inning for Wilson, as Foley goes down in order. We're through 2 innings of play, and neither team has been able to get on the scoreboard, as you're watching an elimination game between Foley post 99 and Tuscumbia post 31 here on JockJive.com. We're through 2 innings of play. Tuscumbia and Foley haven't been able to get a run on the board so far. Drake Wilson, a couple of no-hit innings so far, as he was able to get a 1-2-3 inning in his second inning of work. Maddox Weigert was at the plate when Thomas Holliday was picked off the second base to end the top of the second inning, so he'll get things started here in the top of the third. Tuscumbia, they're in the white tops and bottoms. They're the designated visiting team. And the camo tops and the white bottoms for Foley as the designated home team. 8, 9, and 1 for Tuscumbia as Weigert offers and fouls off the first pitch. Bettner, his third inning of work for Foley post 99, making their way up from the Alabama Gulf Coast this week. Fastball high. Bettner also a couple of shutout innings, 6 foot, 199 pounds from Snook Christian Academy. That's hit into right field, slicing away from the right fielder and just sneaks inside the line for a fair ball. Tuberville not able to catch up to as he now just gets it into the infield. The relay throw to third, and they got him at third. So Weigert got a double, but tried to stretch it into a triple. And looked as if when he got from second to third might have run out of gas that time. And give credit to the combo of Tuberville, Colton Watkins, and Banks. 9-4-5 on the putout. That is a big relay that time, as that gets the first out of the inning, and a swing and a miss for strike one as we get to the bottom of the order for Tuscumbia. Our first look offensively at Dawson Higgins as he fouls it off. Playing center field today. Higgins, 5'9", 170 pounds, out of Tharptown High School. Hits that into right field. And that'll get by the right fielder, Tuberville. Goes all the way to the wall as Higgins makes the turn around second. And this time he's going to slide in ahead of the relay throw. So back-to-back extra base hits, but with the first out of the inning on Weigert at third. That, at least for the moment, keeps this game scoreless as Higgins at third with Tuscumbia in business here in the third. The third hit of the ball game for Tuscumbia as back to the top of the order in Brody Armstrong as he takes high. Rolled out to Colton Watkins at second for the first out of the ball game, his first time up. Infield comes in. Ground ball and under the glove of Nichols at first. And so Tuscumbia gets on the board first. An RBI single for Armstrong as he goes the opposite way. So 3 hits in the inning as Tuscumbia now getting into the teeth of their order for Connor Sheets, who struck out looking his first time up. Bettner with his back starting to get against the wall as the throw to first base not in time. Pitch high for ball one. Our first of 5 games today here on JockJive.com. Bettner out of the stretch and gets a nice changeup, swing and a miss. Have not been able to check out weather conditions so far today here at Riddle Pace Field. And you can imagine once we get into the afternoon hours, it's going to be nice and steamy out there on the playing surface. The hitters count to Sheets. Right now, 80 degrees with a 86% humidity factor, so it feels more like 86 degrees right now under hazy skies. There's a strike call. So the Tuscumbia offense able to let's get some support here in the third for Drake Wilson. As that misses upstairs, so hitters count for Sheets. 3 balls and 1 strike. Relatively healthy lead for Armstrong over at first. Runner goes, swing and a miss. And check that, that was a full count pitch, so that's going to go down as a strikeout. The second time Sheets has fanned today. And also a trade-off with Armstrong going on the pitch, a stolen base. And so now a runner in scoring position with 2 down for Drake Wilson. So Wilson, an opportunity to help himself here. We'll have a coaching visit here for Foley. As right now Tuscumbia trying to get a crooked number on the board and to take at least what would be a 2-run advantage. They would have a 2-run advantage if not for an outstanding relay from Tuberville to Colton Watkins to Banks over at third to retire Maddox Weigert after he had hit a line drive down the right field line, as we'll have at least time called with both of our umpires conferring down the third base line. Coming up next here on JockJive.com. Scheduled for an 11:30 first pitch between Daphne post 199 and Hackleburg post 165. That's also an elimination game. Right now, Drake Wilson wants to try and add to the run scoring here in the third as he'll lay off for ball 1. Wilson took a 2-2 pitch past Brazil at shortstop into left field for what was the first hit of the ball game. A toss over to second base for Bettner. And Bettner wants to get out of this inning with as little damage done here in the third. A key batter for him as time called before the pitch could be made. Tuscumbia in good position, not quite at the halfway point, about a third of the way through. Bettner comes set, and he'll also toss over to second. Bettner works out of the stretch. Off the end of the bat as that goes foul. One ball and 1 strike. Two-out opportunity for Wilson to extend the Tuscumbia lead as the breaking ball hits on the outside corner. You see the big green monster in right here at Riddle Pace Field. As the count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Just .315 down the right field line as there's a swing and a miss for the strikeout. Big strikeout for Bettner as he gets a couple of strikeouts in the inning. However, 3 hits leads to the first run of the ball game as Tuscumbia takes the lead. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors, and a runner left in scoring position. We go to the bottom of the third inning. Now Tuscumbia 1 and Foley 0. We're through 2.5 innings of play here at Riddle Pace Field on the campus of Troy University. As Tuscumbia with a 1-0 lead, thanks to Brody Armstrong's RBI single to right. Drake Wilson already a couple of shutout innings as he has yet to allow a hit. Has walked and hit a batter, but also has been able to strike out a batter so far through his first 2 innings of work. James Paul Nutze due up as Foley posts 99 through their first time through the order. Nutze behind home plate today as he'll take the changeup, a strike call. So far, 1 run on 4 hits with no errors as that's hit well into left field, but right at the left fielder for Tuscumbia for out number 1. That was hit hard that time by Nutze. Over smashed right at the left fielder for the first out of the inning. Brody Armstrong able to flag down that line drive. So we go back to the top of the order for Hayden Brazil, the shortstop who walked to lead off the first. He gets ahead in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Able to take inside for ball 2, 2-0. Solid performance so far for Tuscumbia all across the board. As the count now at 3 balls and no strikes. Drake Wilson steady so far out on the mound as he'll now come home. And there's a strike call. Still plenty of baseball to go for both of these teams. However, in an elimination game, you like the position you're in if you're Tuscumbia as Brazil swings and misses at the curveball. Infield playing back all the way around. There's a foul tip into the glove for strike 3. And so a nice job that time on the part of Wilson, able to battle back from a 3-0 count to get his second strikeout of the ball game, as there's now 2 down here in the third. Cooper Watkins grounded out to second his first time up. Lines this one into center field, and that drops down for a base hit. So that's the first hit of the ball game. And just the second base runner, or third base runner, I beg your pardon, for Foley post 99. As Bryant Banks, the third baseman, grounded out to short his last time up. So now the possible tying run aboard. Good job of able to keep backhanding that for Connor Sheets, the catcher, as he's able to keep the runner at first base 1-0, and now a look over to first base. Bottom of the third inning as Tuscumbia got on the board first in the top half of this inning. That'll also miss low 2-0. Our next game still in about an hour and 40 minutes or so. 5 games today here at Riddle Pace Field as the runner goes, a hit and run, and that's chopped and stays in fair territory as they have the runner caught between second and third, but the throw, at least trying to get Watkins at second, hits off the back of him. And so the inning continues for Foley. Not exactly how Foley drew up that hit and run, but it gets the job done as Bryant Banks able to reach on his first single of the day. Colby Jordan hit by a pitch his last time up. Has an opportunity to tie up this ball game. As that'll miss downstairs for ball one. No runs, 2 hits in error, and so far a couple left on base for Foley. Colby Jordan out of Foley High School. Big right-handed batter as he lifts this one down the first base line. As an opportunity that time, nice to try and make an over-the-shoulder catch for McCullough. Wasn't able to do so as the inning continues. 1 ball and 1 strike. So a second try really for Colby Jordan to not only try and get his team on the board with a single, but a double could give Foley their first lead. That gets to the backstop, so that's going to help Foley's cause. Is now 2 runners in scoring position after the wild pitch. So skips by Sheets as moving over to third, Cooper Watkins and Bryant Banks into scoring position. Now a big moment in this ball game. Nice job by Sheets of able to backhand that one hopper. So the count goes now to 3 balls and 1 strike. First 2 batters were retired, however, Foley with a single would be able to take their first lead of the game. And that's smacked foul and out of play. And so now an all-important payoff pitch coming up. Colton Watkins on deck, but more importantly for Wilson, he's trying to get one more out to get out of trouble. Stretch for Wilson, and he'll miss downstairs. 4-4. So that now loads the bases on the second walk of the ball game for Drake Wilson. Colton Watkins popped up to Holiday at short to end the first inning his last time up. One of, if not his biggest at-bats of this entire tournament. He lines that into left field for a base hit. Coming home to score Watkins, also Banks behind him as Foley takes the lead. So a little 2-out magic for Foley as they're able to get back-to-back singles and a walk to load the bases to lead into Colton Watkins' opposite field 2-run single as now Foley on top. A huge 2-run single for Colby Watkins. Or check that, Colton Watkins, I beg your pardon. As that gets to the backstop, as Ethan Bettner will now have an opportunity potentially to drive a couple home himself after a wild pitch. So Foley able to come through as the loser will have their tournament run come to an end. And the winner will play later today at 5:30 in a semifinal round game. Wilson, bouncer, foul. So tough way to try and close the inning for Drake Wilson, as at least he was able to get the first 2 outs with very little trouble. However, Foley able to get their last 4 batters on base as the check swing and able to lay off it is Bettner. So he gets ahead in the count. Ethan Bettner, the 7th batter to come to plate here in the third. Wind and pitch. Hit into right center. Slicing away toward Higgins as he's able to dive and make the catch to retire the side. Ball just kept drifting away from Higgins as he had to hustle to catch up to it and able to go full extension as he's shaken up a little bit. So he'll take a little bit of time to catch his breath before coming to the first base dugout for a highlight reel catch to close out the inning. However, 2 runs score on 3 hits with no errors and 2 left in scoring position as we're now through 3 full innings of play. Foley now on top by a score of 2-1. Almost to the halfway point in our first of 5 today at Riddle Pace Field. The final Saturday in the month of July. And we're just a little over a month from kicking off the college football season and just a little less than a month around the state of Alabama from kicking off the 2025 high school football season. I imagine many of these players will be suiting up here in about a month to get the high school football season started as a swing and a miss by McCullough as he goes upstairs for strike 1. Ethan Bettner back out on the mound. Has allowed 4 hits, just 1 run given up. That's hit into left center field, and that's going to drop down for at least a base hit. Cooper Watkins, and he's able to retrieve it back into the infield and hold McCullough to a single. Hit number 5 today as a team for Tuscumbia post 31. And the northwest corner of Alabama as we go to the number 5 batter in the order, second in the inning, and Thomas Holliday. Reached on an error his first time up and was caught stealing to end the second inning. Bettner comes set. This is high. So Holliday ahead in the count. All of the scoring so far has taken place in the third as that gets off the glove of Nutzi. And so the possible tying run now into scoring position. Second wild pitch for Bettner today. Bunt shown and taken for a strike. So 3 balls and 1 strike. Sun's starting to come out here at Riddle Pace Field as that'll be hit foul and past the first base dugout. Count now full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Payoff pitch is downstairs, and so 2 runners now aboard with nobody down, as that is the first walk today on the part of Ethan Bettner. Brings up Grayson Owens, who struck out swinging his last time up. Infield up the middle at double play depth, as that's taken high for ball 1. At least from where we're located. Cannot see any activity in the left field bullpen. As there's a swing and a miss at the changeup. Chance for Tuscumbia to bounce back and answer the two-out runs scored by Foley in the third. That misses downstairs, and so a hitter's count for Grayson Owens. That's hit down the line, and that'll go foul. This is a big pitch coming up. Big scenario for Bettner to try and get that first out without either of the runners advancing an extra base. A double play ground ball would be very beneficial for Foley here. Swing and a miss. They'll certainly take the strikeout as well to get the first out on the board, as that's the second time that Grayson Owens has fanned today. That's 5 strikeouts for Bettner, and he's only allowed 1 walk so far. So 1 down. As coming up to the plate is Carson Brown. Also struck out back in the second. Ahead in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Or check that now, 2 balls and no strikes. Getting in the portion of the ball game where every at-bat starts to become important, especially in a close game. With this being an elimination game, every at-bat and every out precious as far as one of these two teams trying to stay alive. 2 balls and 1 strike now the count. That's hit off the end of the bat and foul. Thankfully for Bettner that time, was not expecting a fresh baseball to come to him. At least avoids getting hit with a little bit of friendly fire, but able to shake it off, and he's ready to go here in just a moment with another big-time 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss at the changeup. So Ethan Bettner has come up here in this 4th inning with a couple of huge 2-2 strikeouts. And so that keeps runners at first and second base as Maddox Weigert, a double and thrown out at third his last time up. He takes a strike. Tuscumbia has scored 1, but they've left a couple of runners on base and also had at least Maddox Weigert thrown out at third, back in the third. So they've had their opportunities to try and build a lead today. 1-1, and I believe that hits the flesh that time of Weigert. And so he'll take first base on the HBP. So that is the first hit batter today for Ethan Bettner, as that brings up the bottom of the order in Dawson Higgins. His biggest at bat of the tournament this week. A hit would be able to put Tuscumbia back on top. Runners will go on contact with 2 down. Runners get their lead in a late swing and a miss. So now McCullough over at third. Holiday at second, and Weigert over at first. A hitter's count for the Tuscumbia center fielder, Dawson Higgins. And now nowhere to put Higgins with a 3 ball and 1 strike count as Bettner back against the wall. And that'll just hit the inside corner And now with the full count, the runners will get a head start on this all-important payoff pitch. Ball slips out of the hand that time of Bettner. And so that's basically an automatic ball 4 anyway. So that's going to at least drive home the tying run of the ball game. So now we go back to the top of the order. As Brody Armstrong to the plate. Called that a bases-loaded walk, an RBI for Higgins. As McCullers scores, Holiday to third, and Weigert into scoring position at second. Big cut and a miss for Brody Armstrong. A 1 pitch. Hit in the right center. Slices toward Tuberville as he'll race in and make the catch. Side retired, but Tuscumbia able to tie it up with a run on just 1 hit, no errors, and the bases left loaded. We're halfway home on this Saturday morning. It is Tuscumbia 2 and Foley 2 as you're watching the Alabama American Legion State Baseball Tournament here on JockJive.com. We come to the top of the fifth inning, or rather the bottom of the fourth inning, as Foley looks to regain the lead. As these two teams have gone back and forth over their last 2 at-bats, the two teams scoreless through 2. And then Tuscumbia took the first lead of this ball game on an RBI single from Brody Armstrong. In the bottom of the third inning, after the first 2 batters were retired, 4 straight Foley batters were able to reach base, capped off by a 2-run, 2-out, bases-loaded single by Colton Watkins. And then in the top half of this fourth inning, an RBI bases-loaded walk from Dawson Higgins, able to tie up the ball game. As we'll now go to the bottom third of the Foley post-99 batting order. Ground ball and flag down over at first by McCuller as he's able to step on the bag to retire Mitchell Tuberville. 1 pitch, 1 down for Drake Wilson. Appears to be shaking out for what could be a battle to the finish line here in Game 1 of 5 today. Brady Nichols, a strikeout looking to end the second inning as he takes outside. A hard-fought ball game so far in this elimination match. Roller over to the right side. Weigert fields and throws 2 down. So easy work so far for Drake Wilson, but we could have said the same thing in the third inning, as that's when Foley was able to get some hits and base runners strung together to take their first lead of the game. Now knotted up as to the bottom of the order in James Paul Nutzi. Hit the ball hard, but lined out to left to begin the third. Takes a breaking ball here for ball 1. Drake Wilson trying to complete his 4th inning of work. I've seen his hat fly off a few times. Certainly working hard out there today. And for the most part has been rather consistent in his effectiveness. 2 balls and no strikes. For much of the players in this tournament field today, could be their final summer baseball, at least final baseball of the summer. Hit into left field. Should be an easy play, as it'll be the left fielder Armstrong calling off the shortstop Holiday to make the catch and retire the side. So easy work that time for Drake Wilson as he gets Foley in order. We are through 4 innings of play from beautiful Riddle Pace Field on the campus of Troy University. It remains Tuscumbia 2 and Foley 2. A tight ball game between Foley post 99 and Tuscumbia post 31. Tuscumbia 2 and Foley 2 as we come to the top of the 5th inning here at Riddle Pace Field on the campus of Troy University. The Troy Trojans will be back at it as far as the 2026 baseball season here at Riddle Pace Field in February, but still quite a bit of summer baseball to go here at the American Legion State Baseball Tournament for 2025. James Hardy with you on JockJive.com. We'll be going all throughout, I imagine, maybe close to the midnight hour later on today to set up tomorrow's championship round scheduled for a 1 o'clock start. Tuscumbia will have 2, 3, and 4 in their lineup coming up here in the top of the 5th inning. Connor Sheets has not had a lot of luck so far against Ethan Bettner as he has struck out both looking and swinging so far today. For one of these teams, it's just going to require maybe that big hit that they need to catapult themselves, hopefully, across the finish line successfully. First pitch upstairs to begin the 5th inning to Sheets. Drake Wilson and William McCullough due up. And that'll miss downstairs. 2 balls and no strikes. Good ball game so far. A well-played game for the most part, as there's only been 1 fielding miscue between the 2 teams so far today. 3 balls, no strikes. And that's hit foul and out of play. So Connor Sheets trying to get things started in a positive manner, as he'll take upstairs, or I beg your pardon, just at the very upstairs part of the strike zone. Right around the letters, but a strike call nonetheless. So big pitch coming up. A weak roller over to the left side as Banks fields and throws on the run. Nice play that time by Banks for out number 1. Played a little bit back over at third, but able to come in and make an accurate throw on the run. At least, even at this level of baseball, as far as you have a lot of your sophomore, juniors, and seniors at the high school level, not always the easiest of plays, or that you'd see made routinely, at least certainly at the Power Conference, the college level, and then certainly in the professional level. A nice play by Banks over at third for out number 1. Strike called to Drake Wilson as he has a single and a strikeout. Taps this one over to the left side as Banks cuts off the ground ball. Smart play that time to get the out over at first. Brazil probably could have gotten the out at first as well, but Banks certainly a more high percentage play to get the 5-3 put out. Had a little bit of the way to go to his left in the infield to get the slow roller, but made it look easy. He's had a couple of good defensive plays here in the 5th. William McCullough had a leadoff single in the 4th. As Bettner comes home, there's another soft tapper as Bettner. Smart play that time, just gather himself and make the routine throw over to first base. So 3 groundouts for Tuscumbia as they go down in order in the top of the 5th inning. We now go to the bottom of the 5th inning. It still remains Tuscumbia 2 and Foley 2, an elimination game here at Riddle Pace Field on JockJive.com. Tuscumbia posts 31-2 and Foley posts 99-2. You're watching the Alabama American Legion State Baseball Tournament here on JockJive.com. Neither team has had more than a 1-run lead so far today. 2 teams were scoreless through 2, and now Tuscumbia scored in the 3rd and the 4th inning, and then both of the Foley runs coming in the 3rd inning. Our next game here at Riddle Pace Field, Daphne posts 199 and Hackleburg posts 165. That's scheduled in to get started in about an hour, 15 minutes. Drake Wilson gets his final warm-up toss in. Winner of this ball game will take on the loser of Game 11. That's between Shelby County Post 555 and Troy Post 70 in a winner's bracket semifinal game. Top 3rd of the Foley order. First pitch swing for Hayden Brazil as he fouls it off. Walked in the 1st and then struck out on a foul tip his last time up to begin for the 2nd out, rather, of the 3rd. That's hit into left center field. Coming over, Armstrong makes the grab. So Brazil now 0 for 2. 1 down here in the bottom of the 5th inning. A relatively, almost a absolutely cleanly played game so far. Just 1 fielding error by Foley back in the 2nd inning. Ground ball. And that goes through the wickets of Weigert. So right when we at least applauded the defense for both of these teams, right on cue, you had the first error of the ball game for Tuscumbia's defense. So that now puts the possible go-ahead run on at first base. Bryant Banks 1 for 2 with a ground out and a single. Waves through the curveball, though, for strike one. Very impressed with what we've seen from Drake Wilson and also from Ethan Bettner today. Drake Wilson now 4 1/3 innings, has allowed 3 hits. All of those hits came in the third. Has hit a batter, also has walked a couple. There's a grounder over to the right side as Weigert goes to second and gets the lead runner there. A little surprised that he'd take the chance there, but able to get the lead runner on the 4-6 fielder's choice to retire Watkins. So Cooper Watkins retired at second base for the second out of the inning. So a runner at first now, and Bryant Banks as that brings up Colby Jordan. Runner goes, pitch outside, and the throw airmails everyone into center. Trying to go to third is Banks as the throw skips in there. And give credit as well to Banks as he was able to hustle into third. Even a clean throw with that last little burst that Banks was able to get sliding into third probably would have beaten the throw. So give that a stolen base and throw in any 2 as well. That's 2 errors in the inning, and now the go-ahead run over at third. That's tapped foul to make it now 1 ball and 1 strike. So Colby Jordan a chance to put Foley on top. 2 teams sniffing the finish line here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Still some baseball to go in what is now a tied game. Wilson, sensing the importance, steps off the rubber to gather himself. That's hit foul and out of play. Makes that now 1 ball and 2 strikes. All it takes for Foley is Colby Jordan to get a single to get his team back on top. On the flip side, Drake Wilson wants to get that final out and preserve a tie game. They'll say no contact made. That's a strikeout, but the wild pitch keeps the runner on at first, and the throw home is not in time. And Foley able to take the lead. That's not exactly how Foley drew it up. A swing and a miss on a pitch in the dirt that got away from Sheets. That allowed Colby Jordan to reach base, and then able to take second on the throw. And on the back end, Bryant Banks sprinted toward home and able to get to home plate and give Foley the advantage. So Banks scores in an unconventional way, as we mentioned, to take the lead, but in a close ball game, in an elimination game, Foley, they'll take it any way they can get it. So no RBI for Jordan, obviously, on the strikeout, as he was able to take second on the throw home. Colton Watkins, another RBI opportunities. He had a 2-run single his last time up. Lunges at it and fouls it off for strike 1. So that is an unearned run. Even though Cooper Watkins was retired on the fielder's choice, that error on the second batter of this inning, able to keep this inning going. Wilson comes home, and that gets off the glove of Sheets. Likely going to be a pass ball in this scenario to allow Jordan to trot over to third. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Colton Watkins today, as we mentioned, a 2-run single to left in the third, and also popped up to short in the first. That wild pitch huge so far to get Foley on top as that's hit well into right center field, and that's going to drop down to give a 2-run advantage to Foley. Around second goes Watkins. Here's the throw into third, and that's going to be in plenty of time to end the inning. However, an RBI double for Watkins, his third RBI of the day, able to score Colby Jordan from third, as Watkins retired on a 9-4-5 relay to end the inning. However, for Foley, 2-run score on the benefit of 1 hit. There was an error and nobody left on base. We're through 5 innings of play as now Foley on top by their largest margin of the day, up 4-2 going into the 6th. We go to the top of the 6th inning as Foley, with the largest lead of the day for either team, up by a couple. In that bottom of the 5th inning, 2 runs on 1 hit with an error and nobody left on base for Foley. It'll be batters 5, 6, and 7 for Tuscumbia, as they need to come up with an answer for Foley's 2-run half of the 5th inning. Ethan Bettner back out there for what would be his 6th inning of work. Thomas Holliday, Grayson Owens, and Carson Brown due up for their 3rd at-bats of this Saturday morning. A late Saturday morning at Riddle Pace Field as that's sprayed into right field, and coming in and not able to make the catch is Tuberville. Thought he had it sized down, but not able to corral that line drive as it drops down for a leadoff double for Thomas Holliday. That's at least the second time that Tuberville hasn't been able to get a clean read on a line drive out in right field today. A good start to this top of the 6th inning, though, for Tuscumbia post 31. Appears as if we have a pinch hitter checking in for Grayson Owens. And a swing and a miss here to make it no balls and 1 strike. We'll get you the substitution here in just a moment. It's quickly now no balls and a couple of strikes. Wesley Reeder, the 6', 245-pound right-hander, or left-handed batter, I beg your pardon, at the plate. Takes for ball 1. First time we've seen him as he hits that one. And that'll go foul. Reeder walked across the graduation stage at Florence High School just a couple of months ago. Trying to put a run on the board for Tuscumbia here in the 6th. It's that one foul, and now keep it at a 1-ball, 2-strike count. So Thomas Holliday, including a leadoff error in the 2nd, has reached base now 3 times. He's at 2nd. That's 6 hits now for Tuscumbia as a called strike 3. What appeared to be a off-speed pitch. Was able to freeze Reeder, the pinch hitter, for a strikeout. That's a well-timed strikeout for Ethan Bettner. As he's now he's piling up the strikeouts now. Up to 8 so far today. Carson Brown at the plate, who struck out twice, both swinging earlier today. Once in the second and the other in the fourth. A hit here, 1 ball and no strikes. And now swings and misses to even the count at 1-1. 4 more games still to come today. And one of these two teams looking to play in the 5:30 game. Lazy fly ball to Tuberville. This time able to track it down for out number 2. So after the leadoff double from Thomas Holliday, back-to-back outs for Tuscumbia as that brings up Maddox Weigert, who has doubled. Was thrown out at third, trying to stretch it into a triple in the third, and then hit by a pitch and stranded at second in the fourth. Been a good ball game so far to get things started here at Riddle Pace Field. Foley as the home team trying to get across the finish line here as they're just 4 outs away from advancing into the losers bracket semifinal. Rob Coble's squad from Tuscumbia, they want to get at least a run here in the 6th as that misses upstairs. 2 runs, 6 hits, and a couple of errors for Tuscumbia today. 4 runs on 4 hits with just 1 error, however, for Foley. Count now at 2 balls and no strikes. That's chopped over to the left side. A Sunday hop on a Saturday for Brazil as he'll make the toss over to first base in time. So a leadoff double wasted for Tuscumbia as they leave a runner in scoring position. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a runner left on base. As we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, it remains Foley 4 and Tuscumbia 2. Drake Wilson, his job now to try and keep Tuscumbia in striking distance as he needs to put a 0 on the board here in the 6th inning for Tuscumbia to have a chance in the 7th inning. However, right now, Foley in good position, up by 2 at the very worst coming into the home stretch of this first ball game of the day. James Hardy with you as we appreciate you joining us on JockJive.com, wherever you are watching us from on this final Saturday in the month of July. Foley scored a pair of runs in the third to take their first lead 2-1 after 3. And then with the game tied at 2, they were also able to get a couple of 2-out runs, including a Colton Watkins RBI double in the 5th. As Colton Watkins, the offensive star, with 3 RBIs today. That's hit softly and into the glove of the second baseman Weicker to rob Ethan Bettner of a single. Well timed that time by the Tuscumbia second baseman. 1 pitch and 1 down. 6, 7, and 8 in the Foley lineup here in the 6th inning. Mitchell Tuberville is flied out to center and ground out to first base. He'll take inside here for a ball. By the way, both of the Foley runs that were scored in the 5th were unearned. Reached out that time by Tuberville, and that's hit foul and out of play. Appears as if our next teams in the green room have arrived here at Riddle Pace Field. Winner advances to the 5:30 losers bracket final. Our next game, Daphne and Hackleburg. Winner of this game will take on the loser of Shelby County and Troy. Pitch hit well into right field. See if that hugs and goes foul. So the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tuberville hooked that foul, got some good contact on it. Flied out to center in the 2nd and also grounded out to first, as we mentioned, on the first pitch he saw in the 4th. Foley would like to add to their 2-run advantage. Wilson comes home. Upstairs, count goes full now at 3 balls and 2 strikes. 4 runs on 4 hits as Colton Watkins has driven home 3 of the 4 runs for Foley today. That slips, at least the bat does, out of Tuberville's hands. Able to make some contact, though, and foul it off. So we're about to get pitch number 7 of this at-bat. Drake Wilson battling in there as he's trying to keep this at a 2-run margin. And misses upstairs, though, for ball 4. So first time Tuberville has reached base. Only the 2nd walk so far for Wilson. Brady Nichols today a strikeout victim in the 2nd and grounded out to 2nd in the 4th. A swing and a miss at the curveball. So looking ahead to the Tuscumbia 7th, they'll have 9, 1, and 2 due up. Right now, they really do not need to fall further behind than they are at this point. Runner goes, and that's fouled off the end of the bat. Tuberville was on the move over at first base, and now the count at 0 balls and 2 strikes. One of these 2 teams has to win 4 games over the rest of the weekend to take home an American Legion State Baseball Championship. That goes up the middle and through for a base hit. Very nice job by Brady Nichols as he was able to battle in there and bounces that right back through the middle of the infield for his first hit of the day. So now runners on base, a couple, including a runner at 2nd with just 1 down for James Paul Nutzi. It looks as if we'll have stoppage in play. Both pitchers have done a solid job so far today. And it appears we will have a new pitcher coming up. So we'll step aside for this timeout and tell you who that new pitcher is here on JockJive.com. New pitcher for Tuscumbia post 31 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Drake Wilson now goes in to left field, as we'll have also Brady Armstrong go to shortstop from left field, and that means Thomas Holliday comes in as the first reliever for either team today. So far for Drake Wilson, 5 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, just 2 earned with a couple of walks and a couple of strikeouts. Foley in position to get some much-needed insurance and try and pad their lead to as much as maybe 4. That pitch gets to the backstop. And so that's a good break for Foley, as now 2 runners in scoring position with less than 2 down. So Nutzi had shown bunt, but the wild pitch allows Nichols to go to second and Tuberville to advance to third. So that means down 2. The Tuscumbia defense now comes in. Breaking ball outside. Four runs on 5 hits now for Foley post 99. Grounded over to the shortstop as Armstrong comes home, and they got the runner at home. So Tuberville gunned down on a 6-2 fielder's choice for the second out of the inning. So Nutzi now on at first base after the 6-2 fielder's choice, and Nichols to third. That's a much-needed out for Tuscumbia, as that gets us back to the top of the order, and Hayden Brazil has walked, struck out, and also flied out. And a miss outside, or check that. That might have been a strike call. First guess is correct. Misses outside for ball 1. Brazil trying to get what would be an RBI single as the runner goes. Hit into right center field. A long run coming in and making the catch is Owens to retire the side. Owens a long way to go, but able to catch up to that shallow fly ball to end the bottom of the 6th inning. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on base. We go to the 7th inning as Tuscumbia down to their final 3 outs, as elimination time potentially for one of these 2 teams, as you're watching the Alabama American Legion State Baseball Tournament from Riddle Pace Field here on JockJive.com. Tuscumbia post 31 down to their final 3 outs as we go to the top of the 7th inning in game 1 of 5 today here in day 3 of the American Legion State Baseball Tournament here in Troy, Alabama. On deck, awaiting in the green room. But before we get to that, it appears we're going to have a new pitcher for Foley to try and close things out, as Brady Nichols will come on to the mound, try and close things out, as Ethan Bettner, a rock-solid 6 innings today for Foley post 99. Gave up just a couple of earned runs. That's a quality start for Ethan Bettner. 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, both earned. Also able to limit his walks today. A couple of walks along with one hit batter. And then very effective on the strikeouts as well today. 8 strikeouts. That was one of his best, arguably one of his best performances of the season, certainly this weekend. It's Brady Nichols now on to try and close things out. So that means we'll also have a new first baseman to check in for Foley post 99. Wearing the spiffy camo tops this Saturday morning. 2 teams were scoreless to their first 2 at-bats, and then Foley and Tuscumbia traded runs over the next inning and a half. And Foley able to break a 2-2 deadlock a couple of innings ago in the 5th. So we go to the Tuscumbia 7th as Dawson Higgins has reached base twice and nearly gets hit by a pitch there as he takes for ball 1. A triple and a run scored and an RBI bases loaded walk in the 4th. Fastball in there, a strike call. Wind and pitch from Nichols, and that hits Higgins square in the back. So that gets the leadoff batter aboard here in the 7th inning and gets us back to the top of the order for Armstrong. Armstrong today 1 for 3 with an RBI single in the 3rd. Also grounded out to second in the 1st and flied out to right to end the 4th. So Brody Armstrong now represents the possible tying run in this ball game as the tournament hopes for Tuscumbia on the line here in the 7th. Toss over to first base. Tuscumbia still needs base runners, however, trying to set themselves up for what they hope is a big inning. Runner goes from first. A strike call, and wisely, at least that time, no throw made by Nutzi. So that will make it no balls and 1 strike, and that's going to be an uncontested stolen base for Dawson Higgins. Nichols set. And almost hits Armstrong. One of these 2 teams, including this game, would need to win 4 games if they want to win this American Legion State Baseball Tournament. Would have at least 1 more game today. Sliced foul down the right field line. About 45 minutes away from Daphne and Hackleburg playing their first game of the day. Stretch and pitch, and there's a bouncer and foul down the third base line. Been a well-played game for the most part between these 2 teams. However, Foley has gotten a couple of big hits today from Colton Watkins that has helped their cause. Breaking ball in the dirt. On deck is Connor Sheets. So far, Tuscumbia has left 6 on base. There's a bouncer over to the right side. Easy play for Colton Watkins. 1 down. Still 2 more outs to go for Foley to get to the finish line, as that allows Higgins to go to third base. Connor Sheets has struck out twice and also grounded out to third. At least looking at the Foley infield right now, the middle infielders, they'll concede what would be the 3rd run of the game for Tuscumbia for out number 2. It appears now that all of the infield playing back. Off-speed pitch goes outside. So 1 ball and no strikes on Sheets. Wilson on deck as that gets to the backstop. And that's going to allow the third run of the game to score for Tuscumbia. So a wild pitch allows Higgins to come home to score. And so Tuscumbia able to scratch out a run here in the 7th. Hitters count for Sheets as he's trying to get aboard and put a little more game pressure on Foley. Nichols misses low. 3-0. Wind and pitch on the way. Right in there, a strike call. So Ethan Bettner would be in line for the victory if Foley can hold on here in the 7th. A strike taken by Sheets as the count now full at 3-2. So the hit by pitch comes home to score for Tuscumbia as the payoff is swung on and missed for the strikeout. Big time strikeout for Nichols. Is Brady Nichols able to get a much-needed K. And now Foley 1 out remaining from advancing to the semifinal round later on this afternoon. First pitch swing and a slow roller through the right side. And that's going to keep this game going. So Drake Wilson with his second hit of the day. He's 2 for 4 as that keeps the game alive. It's now the possible go-ahead run at the plate in William McCullough. That's hit number 7 unofficially for Tuscumbia. McCullough so far, a fly out, a single, and a run scored, and a ground out. Hits this one hard into left field. As going back will be Cooper Watkins to make the play, as he's able to at least preserve the lead for Foley post 99. In fact, that'll get Foley across the finish line, as in the 7th inning for Tuscumbia, they were able to score 1 on 1 hit with no errors and a runner left on base. So your final score from Riddle Pace Field here in Troy, Alabama, it's Tuscumbia falling to Foley post 99 by a score of 4-3. So Tuscumbia's run here at Riddle Pace Field comes to an end, and Foley post 99 will face the loser of Game 11 at 2 o'clock, or at least the 2 o'clock game, I should say, between Shelby County post 555 and Troy post 70. The loser of that game will face Foley post 99 at 5:30. Next up for us here on JockJive.com, another elimination game between Daphne post 199 and Hackleburg post 165. That game will take place here in about 40 minutes at 11:30. As we appreciate you for joining us here on JockJive.com. James Hardy wishing you a good Saturday afternoon. Stay tuned, though. We'll be back at 11:30 here on JockJive.com.